Hello, good afternoon. It is Saturday, March 15th, coming up on St. Patrick's Day. Woohoo! So, I'm going to do two videos today. I want to talk about what Mark Carney needs to do, in my opinion, to win the next election. But the first video I'm going to do, I want to talk about um, my politics in particular and the Liberal Party of Canada. Now, for me personally, I am not conservative, not liberal, right? But if I were to align myself politically, the Liberal Party is more in line with what I currently believe. But in the past, I have voted for conservatives, I voted NDP, and I have voted liberal. So I'm what you would call the mushy middle. And that's pretty much where 80% of Canadians reside. Now, in politics in Canada, there's left, right, and um, center. Sorry. And you will often hear the Liberal Party of Canada being referred to as Canada's natural governing party. And the reason that they're called that is because over the course of history, Liberals have held power most often, right? And they'll also call themselves a big tent party and a lot other things along those lines. And it's because the Liberals really are the mushy middle, right? Um, People are always amazed. They will ask questions on how does the Liberal Party maintain power, and there'll be tight belt tightening under Carney, I'm assuming, but Jean Chrétien was, slash and burn, cut funding, liberal to pivot left and be progressive under Trudeau, right? And so that's the thing about what's happening with Carney and everything is he's taken the Liberal Party, you know, to if depending on the commentary, right? Some commentators are saying that he's pivoting hard right, but really he's not. He's just moving the party more to the center, where is that's the natural place that the Liberal Party resides. Right over the past decades, they pivot to what the consensus of the day is, right? And for good or bad. I mean, you can view it as a positive, as it's a party that's flexible and represents the largest portion of Canadians, or you could say it's shitty and that be a party that stands on principle. As much as you hate the Conservatives, or as much as you may hate the NDP, at least they have their moral convictions, and they, well, NDP not so much, but under Jagmeet Singh, they've kind of been wishy-washy and stuff. But hold to your convictions. Conservatives, right? You may dislike them, hate their policies, think their leader is a tool, and I think all of those things. But at least they hold through to their convictions, right? So I mean, you could look at it from that lens. Now, in terms of like the Liberal Party and stuff like that, yeah. But for me personally, I'm a very center guy. I am what you would, I guess, call fiscally conservative, but I don't mind paying taxes. I don't mind government spending. Um, I like having the social safety net that we have. As the past 3 years of, you know, in my life, I've been a net user. I'm definitely a drain on the taxpayer if you want to base it down to numbers and stuff like that. I don't personally view myself that way, but I mean, from a fiscal conservative point of view, yeah, that's what I am. So just spend the money wisely. Keep the waste and corruption to a minimum. And that's, where I land. But on social issues, I'm progressive as shit. I don't care about gay marriage. I don't care about abortion rights. I mean, human rights are human rights. Doesn't matter if you're man, woman, gay, queer, straight, whatever, right? I mean, you can't believe in rights for all and then be exclusionary, right? in Alberta here and stuff, like trans rights, it's such a big issue and it makes the news, but it's such a tiny segment of the population. And, I mean, it's just blows my mind, right? So when you go into it from that frame of mind, right? Like I just laugh because I've been called, oh, you're a libtard. Well, no, I'm not. You know, I've also been called Maple Mega. I'm like, no, I am not Maple Mega, right? But it's just kind of. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted. There's somebody. We got a light dusting of snow, and one of my neighbors is using a leaf blower to blow the snow, and it's kind of distracting. But yeah, so I mean, like for me personally and everything like that, I view myself as a, social progressive. I don't see any reason why we need to be having discussions about, human rights, women's rights, right to choose and things of that nature there. So, but yeah, when you look at the Liberal Party, it's just that big tent party, and we're going to see a turn to the right, but really it's more of a center turn. I don't see Carney pivoting to hardcore conservative policy points, right? I mean, Canada's also had their fair share of blue liberals and red Tories, red conservatives. There's fiscally responsible progressives, and then there's socially progressive fiscal hawks, right? I mean, so it's an interesting time, and I think just watching some new polls that have come out, there's one that Ecos put out a couple of days ago, and it's wild. Like, it has the conservatives down to like 31%, and the liberals up to like 47%. They're, liberal majority territory. It's funny though, because Ecos is, it's got some bias, right? Frank Graves, the guy who runs it, he's an anti-Pierre Poilievre guy, right? So, and he admits it, right? But, even though it's rated B on the pollster scale, Leger and Abacus, they're A rated. But the thing that's interesting about Ecos is they were the polling firm that started showing conservative support collapsing, and this was way back in January, just after Trudeau announced that he resigned. And it was a couple weeks after that, and they were starting to see an uptick. And a lot of the pundits were like, Ecos, they're an outlier, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't like Pierre, and he's biased. And, okay, so you take it with a grain of salt. And, month and a half later, what Ecos was showing is now showing up in the Leger polls and the Abacus polls. So it's going to be interesting to see in the next couple of weeks if that keeps tracking, right? So, I mean, do I think it's as high as it is? No, I still think that the conservatives have a lot of support, but this whole Trump thing is adding so much pressure to the conservatives, because for so long they've hinged their wagon on the mega light Trump train, and now it's like, well, what do you do? So, but yeah, so the Liberal Party, I think they are the party that tries to be everything to everyone. A lot of times it works, sometimes it gets them in trouble. But this election upcoming here is going to be an interesting election, needless to say. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on the Liberal Party, and just a little bit of insight as to my own personal political leanings. And yeah, I'm going to do another video here talking about what Mark Carney needs to do to win the election.